Good morning, Meridian, and welcome to Business Buzz, sponsored by TDS Fiber. This is a program where we bring you a little bit more information about chamber members and the engagements they have here in our community. So joining us today is Gordon Myers. Gordon is a taxpayer services supervisor with the Idaho Tax Commission. Welcome, Gordon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. So Gordon, tell us a little bit about your role with the Idaho Tax Commission and how you engage the business community.
Well, the department that I operate is kind of the leading edge of the communications side of the tax commission. So if you contact the tax commission, whether you come into the Boise office or if you call or if you email, it's usually my department that you're going to have the first contact with. And we will either try to take care of whatever problems you have or whatever questions you have at that point, or else we'll find somebody who can.
Yeah. Lots of questions people have about taxes.
Lots of them.
Lots of questions. So one of the first things that our legislators were able to get passed this session was House Bill 436, which provided for a reduction in both individual and corporate income tax rates. Can you share with us just a little bit about the impacts this has on small businesses and what the tax commission's, kind of doing as far as next steps with that?
Well, as far as the tax commission goes, this is something that's legislative, so it's all statutory. We simply are doing the collection of the taxes. The tax rate has dropped from 7.4% a few years ago. It's had a couple of drops in between, and this year it's at 6% for both individual and business. That just means that you're getting to keep more of your money, and it's improving profits for those businesses.
Okay. Is that, a good rate to have with our surrounding states, make us competitive?
It's pretty comparable.
Okay.
Obviously, we have some states that don't even have a sales tax or an income tax, and it's a little harder to compete with those. But let's face it, every state has to have the revenue from somewhere. So if they are missing one of those taxes, they're making it up on something else.
Okay. Well, this legislation also provided another rebate to Idaho taxpayers. How does someone claim that rebate? How does it work?
It's actually very simple. All you have to do is file your taxes. This year, the rebate is based on your 2020 tax return. So in order to receive it, you have to file both the 2020 and 2021 returns. The amount is set at either 12% of the amount of tax that you owed on your 2020 return. You can find that if you look at your return. It's on line 20 of that Form 40. And it's not necessarily the amount that you paid or the amount of a refund you got. It's the amount of actual tax that was owed. Or it can also be $75 for each person listed on the return, whichever is greater.
Okay. This was a additional tax rebate from what was processed last year. That one was a little bit different. It was, I think, minimum of $50, and it was a 9%.
9%. Yeah, this is similar. It's just a little bit higher rate. And this year we also have the option of, for people who want to, they can donate that to several different causes within the state, parks and recreation, transportation, or education.
Okay. So we've all heard about the huge tax surplus that the state has. Where does the tax commission see that coming from? Is it coming more from income tax or sales tax, or what area is that the surplus probably coming in the most at?
Well, I actually think most of it's coming in from the fact that we got a lot of influx from federal money. But in reality, Idaho is growing. Businesses are growing here. Income tax is coming up because we have more people. Property taxes will be going up because there's more property to be taxed. The rates may not go up. In fact, as we're seeing, they're coming down. But it's being spread over a wider base, so we have more revenue coming in.
Okay. So tax issues are complicated for most people. I think even complicated for some of the accountants out there. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the SALT is? SALT is SALT Workaround.
Okay. SALT stands for state and local taxes. And where this has come about, a few years ago, Congress, in the process of revising the federal income taxes, took away a lot of the itemizable deductions and raised the standard deduction so that most people don't have to itemize anymore anyway. But one of those deductions that people were allowed to take was the amount of income tax or sales tax and property tax that they had paid into the local jurisdictions. They got to deduct that off of their income and then not pay tax on it. when Congress made the changes, they put a cap on that of $10,000. It doesn't take a lot to reach that $10,000 cap anymore. And where this really affected people was those who are members of pass-through organizations like S corporations and partnerships, because they were getting taxed on the amount of revenue that those pass-through entities were earning. All of those entities don't pay taxes themselves; they just pass everything on to the owners and the partners. What was happening then was that they would get all this amount of revenue of taxes that now they're having to pay tax on all this money that the company made. So what the SALT workaround does, it allows those S corporations and partnerships to actually be taxed at the corporate level and pay the tax themselves. The owners and the partners then get a credit for the amount of tax paid, and it doesn't impact that $10,000 cap that they would normally have on their own taxes.
Okay, excellent. So there is some new features that the Tax Commission is rolling out to help people that are trying to report and file. Tell us a little bit about the online reporting for beer and wine. That was something that was brought to my attention that may be new for some people.
It's brand new. It's only been in effect for a few weeks now. We are expanding some of our online services with the TAP accounts, and as of now, you're able to file and pay beer and wine taxes using TAP instead of having to file on paper. We're trying to expand that into a few other things, but these things take time. So stay tuned. We'll keep things working.
All right, excellent. So some of the other things that have been in the legislature this year has been some discussion on the elimination of the grocery tax or the increase in the tax credit. How does that impact the Tax Commission either way?
Well, it really doesn't impact the Tax Commission other than the way we have to go about collecting and processing tax returns. Our revenues are set by the legislature, so it's not a matter of us not getting as much money. It's just a matter of there may not be as much money coming in, or there may be more money coming in, depending on what works. As far as what the legislature is going to do, we don't know yet, and we don't want to get ahead of the legislature. We'll let them make that decision, and then we'll just work with it.
Okay, excellent. Well, Gordon, what is the best way that someone is interested in speaking with you or other taxpayer services provided by the Idaho Tax Commission? How do they get in touch with your department?
There are several ways. They can call. We have a local Boise telephone number of 334-7660. You can go to our website at tax.idaho.gov. We also have an 800 number of 800-972-7660.
Okay.
Or you can actually email us at taxrep@tax.idaho.gov.
Yeah. So it's tax season.
It is.
Everyone's busy.
We're busy.
You're busy. No extensions this year?
We have until April 18th. We've got 3 days.
Right.
And then, you never know what Congress is going to do, but there's nothing we're seeing on the horizon.
All right, excellent. Well, Gordon, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're glad to hear a little bit more about the Idaho Tax Commission and the things that they're doing to make filing and preparing our taxes easier.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you're able to join us Friday morning as we're joined by Keith Lithander, owner of Access Heating and Air. Till then, ready and have a great week.